Hello there you guys, welcome to another one of my live videos, and today I'm going to be updating you on some more current latest news. I'm just going to update you on some latest news. I've just been doing some researching up, and I'm now going to fully update you on what is currently going on with there, guys. So yeah, apparently according to some reports, I've just been basically reading up. First topic of development, then I'm going to get into some more current news now. It's about 30-year-old Jamie Vardy from Leicester now, and the transfer window that's just currently gone. He had a few interests from a couple of teams, did Jamie Vardy. Everton had made inquiries regarding Jamie Vardy. I think they approached his representatives. Also, towards the end of the window, Chelsea had showed an interest in Jamie Vardy as well. And last summer, Arsenal had been strongly linked with Jamie Vardy, but he signed a new deal worth £100,000 a week. So he currently turned down Arsenal. So it's Chelsea that had been linked to him in the window. Everton had been linked to him in the window as well. And we know Jamie Vardy's a quality player. He's a very prolific goal scorer. As he's proven in his 5 years with Leicester. He's good, he's strong, he's quick, he's good in the air, he's very tenacious. Fantastic goal scorer, very good at taking penalties. Is Jamie Vardy, and this is why Chelsea, had showed the interest. Everton had showed their interest because they'd spent quite a bit of money in their transfer window. Anyway, Jamie Vardy, we know. With his past, he's good at he's good at he scores goals. He's proven in the past. He's scored goals, broken records in the past as Jamie Vardy. Risen up the ranks. Fantastically well. Risen up the ranks with Sheffield Wednesday, went to Starksbridge, and then he basically went to Halifax Town, scored a bag full of goals there, also won the Players Player of the Year award. Then went to Fleetwood, also won Players of the Year award there, and scored loads of goals with them as well, and got voted the top scorer for the conference. Did Jamie Vardy? So he's scored goals. He's brought records as Jamie Vardy, and then basically Leicester only paid £1 million for him to get him out of the non-league, and the way that he's progressed has been absolutely fantastic. Jamie Vardy. Now he's at Leicester. He's I think he's won the football of the year. He's won the Premier League with Leicester, as I said. He's won the Championship with Leicester. He's won Leicester's Players Player of the Season. He's won Player of the Month with Leicester, and he's just been absolutely fantastic for Leicester City as Jamie Vardy, and this is why teams have. This is why Chelsea and Everton were actually very, very interested in Jamie Vardy. As I say, he won the Premier League with Leicester. He won the Championship with Leicester City. And he was a very, very good player back in their title win back in 2016. Was Jamie Vardy, but apparently now. Despite having teams being interested in, I think his future, what lies ahead of him, he's demanding that he would prefer a move abroad rather than just go to an English team. He'd prefer the move abroad, according to reports. Apparently, he's come out and basically said it'd be a fantastic experience for the player. He'd love to do it. He said he's actually discussed with his agent in the past about making a potential move to. He's discussed with his agent in the past about possibly making a potential move abroad. Jamie Vardy has been at Leicester 5 years, and he's progressed absolutely fantastically well as Jamie Vardy. But we will see what happens after. But he has had discussions about potentially doing this before. And we know Chelsea, have done business with Leicester in the last couple of years. They've got Kante, won the PFA last season for them. He's a very, very good. And now Danny Drinkwater and Kante are now reuniting together. That is confirmed. Danny Drinkwater's performances for England, he's got his name in the England squad. He's risen up the ranks, with Manchester United, been at Huddersfield before, he'd been at Cardiff before, and I think he'd been at Leicester, was it 4 or 5 years before he made the move to Chelsea right at the end of the window. I think it was just after the window that he'd made the move. But Danny Drinkwater, he's a midfielder. He's got good passive ability. He's good in the air. He's very tenacious. He's very, very competitive. He's Danny Drinkwater. He did have a 4-year deal with Leicester City. but he has now signed for Chelsea. Chelsea had been in discussions with Leicester over this. Chelsea had a 15 million bid turned down. They had a 25 million bid. I think they had a 25 million bid turned down. In the process, they were in the process of getting him 30 million pound. I can't remember how much they did pay for him. I think it was an initial 30 million pound, even though Leicester were demanding that they wanted 40 million pound for Danny Drinkwater. But now they've added Danny Drinkwater into their midfield of Chelsea. They've got much of a better midfield now. You've got Danny Drinkwater playing alongside Kante. They were fantastic partnership together at Leicester. Even with Bakayoko in the middle as well. You've got Hazard who can play in the middle. He can play on the left as well. But Chelsea have improved. Since their 3-2 defeat to Burnley at the start of the season. They've progressed fantastically well since then. So Chelsea have done business with Leicester in the last couple of seasons, as I said, and I did say, it also mentioned Mahrez. It did say Chelsea presumably could have got Mahrez as well. That's another player like Chelsea could have supposedly got. It did say about Mahrez that he did want to make the move because he basically did have permission to leave the Algerian camp. This had been confirmed. I think Mahrez has participated in Leicester's first 3 or 4 games or whatever I think it is. I think he has provided a couple of assists as well as Raheed Mahrez, and currently risen up the ranks. The ex-Lee Harvey player. He's won the Algerian Footballer of the Year. He's won the Premier League with Leicester. He's won the Championship with Leicester, and I think he's been there now, is it 3-4 years or something like that, as Raheed Mahrez. I can't really bleed him remember, but Mahrez is skillful, he's got good passing ability, he'd had interest from Arsenal, Manchester United showed their interest, Chelsea had been interested in him, Roma had also had an interest as well in the player as well, but I think even Paris Saint-Germain had a slight interest in Barcelona, had an interest in Raheed Mahrez, but he did basically confirm that he did want to make the move, but it was unclear where he wanted to go at this moment in time. But basically, it did say Chelsea were close to agreeing a 45 million deal for Raheed Mahrez, but in the process of it, then basically, what happened then? It basically said it mentioned Manchester United, that apparently Manchester United were going to get the current player. I just can't remember now. My memory's gone basically about actually what it basically said. He did say basically he had thoughts about leaving early on in the summer. Pogba had discussions with him potentially making a move to Old Trafford. I think the player himself was keen on making the move to Old Trafford. He was keen on making the move to Old Trafford, but it didn't currently materialise. So that had come to a conclusion with Raheed Mahrez. So yeah, we'll see what happens about that. Also, what else we're going to update? Yes, I'm just going to update you on some latest news now. It is regarding Ivan Perisic. Now, according to the Italian reports, as I did mention the other day, that he's going to be set to sign a new deal after discussions have taken place. Ivan Perisic is going to be signing a new deal with Inter Milan. I think allegedly he could be signing. Allegedly there's going to be a release clause involved in a deal. I don't think that's been fully announced or confirmed yet if there is going to be a release clause as part of the deal, but it is confirmed that he's going to be signing a new deal and he's going to be receiving about 4.1 million per year, which will make him Inter Milan's one of Inter Milan's top players. Even Perisic, which will take it up to, I think, 2021 or 2022, even Perisic. So some reports saying there's going to be a release clause. Some reports have said there isn't going to be a release clause in part of this as well. So it is, either way, it's going to be harder for teams to capture the player in January. The player that, this is what the Italian press have reported, the player that we'd been heavily linked with all summer, as I did say, the agent, had been in discussions with Ed Woodward to try and get a deal finalised. DiMarzio had announced that they wanted that £48 million. We were prepared to pay that £48 million for even Perisic, and this basically is why it comes to a conclusion. We'd been heavily linked to him for the majority of the summer, and then basically the agent had been in discussions with Inter Milan officials, regarding even Perisic's future, and then basically Luca Spell come out, the Inter Milan manager, basically quoted out he was convinced he wants to stay, he doesn't want to make the move, he's happy with Inter Milan, as he did say, he was considering a move. And you know, we know Lucius Belter did rebuff it a couple of times, saying he can't keep him against his own will. And then a change of scenery come across, basically saying he's convinced that he wants to stay, and Lucius Belter was convinced that he was going to stay at Inter Milan. As we know, we had about 2 or 3 bids in the process rejected by Inter Milan. And we all know that we try to recommend Martial as a part of the deal, but obviously, you know, he's only young, and you know, with him, the way that he's performing this season so far, you know, just Jose Mourinho was not willing to sanction Martial off as part of the deal for Ivan Perisic. I'd loved Ivan Perisic because he's highly experienced. You know, he's been at Borussia Dortmund, he's been at Wolfsburg, he's been at Borussia Dortmund, and his performances have been good there. And his performances have been fantastic with Inter Milan, even though they did finish 7th last season, but he was still one of their star performers. Haven't been watching what's been going on in the Serie A this season. I knew he did well in the pre-season as well, even Perisic. But he's highly experienced, he's good in the air. I would have liked him because he's got good physical attributes, he's skillful, you know, he's compassive on the ball, he can put balls into the box. And I still said that Manchester United still need that winner, but we will get that in January, hopefully. And I don't think we'll revive his interest now, because obviously he's going to cost more than the initial £48 million that they were demanding. It's going to be more than £48 million. So if we're not prepared to pay 48, we're not going to pay any more than 48, are we? So I don't think we're going to revive his interest in even Perisic. And also just got some breaking news to update you about Philippe Coutinho as well. Yes, it's been confirmed that he has now returned to training with the rest of the Liverpool squad. He's come to he's returned training with the rest of the Liverpool squad. He's just come back from international duty as Coutinho with Brazil amongst 10 other players. It's a big debate whether he's going to be starting he hasn't made his Premier League appearance yet this season so far for Liverpool, Coutinho. So it's a big, huge debate whether he's going to be starting their game against Manchester City on Sunday. We all know that Coutinho has been named in the Champions League squad for their games. I think they've got Sevilla on the 13th September. But apparently the Spanish press are actually reporting that he still may refuse to actually play in the Champions League with Philippe Coutinho, and said, you know, they'd have benefited from it, Liverpool, if they'd sanctioned him off to Barca in the window. You know, they'd have got the money, they'd have been able to strengthen the positions that Liverpool do need to strengthen up, because, you know, Barca, you know, had 3 bids in the region rejected. You had a 72, they had an 89, and they had 114. We know Coutinho's got a 5-year contract with the club. We know with Liverpool's resistance and they're reluctant to offload him. The owners had basically reacted when he put that transfer request in. The owners had reacted. They were not willing to accept any bids whatsoever off Barcelona, and so too Jurgen Klopp was being ruthless as well. But the player explained that he did want to make the move to the club director. He explained to Klopp that he wanted to make the move, but Liverpool were just not allowing it to happen. He may go in January, he may go next summer, Philippe Coutinho, I do not know, but Liverpool only paid £8.5 million for Inter Milan in 2013, so his progression over the 4 years with Liverpool has been absolutely fantastic. You know, he was one of their star performers last season, so he may get his name. He may play against Manchester City. I do not know. He may not. Now they've got, but they have proven they can play without him. You know, they've got Cham that's hitting form this season. You know, they've got Salah that's scoring goals. Mane is doing fantastically well. Firmino's even doing fantastically well. So he may not be Klopp's first choice to get named on Sunday against Manchester City. So Barca will be disappointed that they didn't get a deal over the line. They were in the process of putting a 4th bid in, but it didn't materialise, because basically probably Barcelona knew that Liverpool's resistance, they were not willing to accept any bids. But apparently they did suggest now, as I did say, what the director had broke out on the news, they were demanding £185 million. But obviously Liverpool, they'd been in negotiations, that had been confirmed, but Liverpool had actually denied what Barcelona had said about demanding that £185 million. So yes, Coutinho is now confirmed. He is back in training with the rest of the Liverpool squad. Just got to update you again on some latest news now is regarding Ross Barkley from Everton. I think he's Koeman's come out because we know Everton has spent a lot of money in the transfer window, as we all said. We know Everton had spent a lot of money in the transfer window. They did fantastic business, you know, in the transfer window. did Everton. I think they got 7-8 players in. They did very, very well, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But yeah, as I did say, Koeman's come out basically. He basically said it was a. What did he say now? I can't really remember what he said now. If I can. Oh yeah, my cast my mind remember back. Yeah, he did say it's been a strange transfer window. It was a strange last day of the transfer window, not just for Everton and for most of the Premier League clubs as well. This is what Koeman explained. This was a conference, and he also clarified and he confirmed that Ross Barkley had been in discussions with. He'd had discussions with Koeman, basically why he currently turned down the move to Chelsea, and basically he said Koeman said this is basically a private, but we all know basically anyway why he basically turned the move down to Chelsea. There were some reports basically. There were actually some reports basically coming out basically actually saying he undergo the medical, but Ross Barkley had the players said to be currently denied the suggestions that he'd ever taken medical. But I think a fee was it 35 million or something like that. I think it was 35 million. It did say a fee had actually been agreed. Chelsea and Everton had come to an agreement for the player of about £35 million. But he was actually set to complete a medical. Some reports saying this, but it didn't currently occur. As actually the player's perspective, he come out and basically said he wanted to leave, but he currently changed his mind. You know, due to his hamstring injury that he's got, Ross Barkley, he decided to leave it until he's fully match fit, which I presume will be in January. Then I think he'll consider making a move. And Koeman said he has still got a future ahead of him at Everton, but Ross Barkley come out and basically said due to his hamstring injury, he's changed his mind. He will stay with Everton for the time being until he's till he regains full fitness, and then he will consider the move. But what he said is apparently the representative of Barkley tried contacting Chelsea. Apparently, Conte didn't answer his phone. There were no negotiations coming from Chelsea. Apparently, and he walked away from I think Chelsea Conte had actually walked away from the negotiations, and basically I think Ross Barkley's thought, well, basically Chelsea basically don't want me because Chelsea are not prepared to have any negotiations over it whatsoever. But the deal did fall through, but it did come to a conclusion as Chelsea didn't respond to this. They didn't prepare to have any negotiation with Everton over this, so there were no negotiations confirmed from Chelsea as well. So this is basically the main reason why the deal didn't go through. He has been at Everton since he was age 11 as Ross Barkley. He did attract a few interest from a few teams in the transfer window, as I said, did Ross Barkley, but he created a lot more opportunities than a lot of players did last season. Did Ross Barkley, very creative, very good in the air, very competitive player. And you know, he's proven that he can be very, very good for England as well. But he will leave in January, Ross Barkley, and I think he could become free next summer, I think, if he hasn't left in January, but I presume that he will leave in January. Ross Barkley, that's been another Chelsea target. Tottenham have been heavily linked with him as well, and he did say on one of the reports he would prefer the move to Tottenham when he's regained his full fitness. Tottenham did well towards the end of the window. They got 3 significant signings, as I said. You know, so they got Sergio Aurier, that's a good cover up for Kyle Walker. You know, they got Davinson Sanchez, who's very versatile, can play at centre back, he can play at right back. So that's a very, very good signing for Tottenham. Also, Llorente, you know, that's a good backup striker for them as well. So that's what I'm guessing getting my head round. Anything else to update you guys with today? And yes, as I did update you guys earlier on, it was on my last video, it was regarding Thomas Muller from Bayern Munich, the current 27-year-old, you know, who's risen up the ranks fantastically well with Bayern Munich. You know, he's participated in the Bayern Munich reserve team. He has been there now 9 years, so he's been at Bayern Munich nearly a decade. It did reports suggest out that Chelsea are interested in going for him in January. Arsenal have been in there. It says Liverpool have made inquiries, and he did mention Manchester United and Juventus regarding the current player as well. Well, I think my battery's low on my phone. But as I did say, Thomas Muller, he may basically want to leave the club now. He's not going to maybe get put in his third position. He's a player, that only netted 9 goals last season. I think that was just in the Bundesliga, but he did provide 12 assists as well. Did Thomas Muller, but yeah, altogether I think he scored about 160 odd goals in nearly 400 appearances for Bayern Munich as Thomas Muller. He's also gained 87 caps with Germany as Thomas Muller. But he's a player. He's one of the most creative players in world football. I think he's in the top 5. He's creative. The way he sets up goals, the way that he links up play with other teammates. Very tenacious, very competitive, very skillful on the ball. Can score goals, and he's a very, very versatile player. As I said, he can play as second striker, play as centre forward. He can play as a attacking mid. He can play as a winner. So his versatility is very, very good. And I think lately he's been playing alongside Robert Lewandowski because he can play as forward as well. Can Thomas Muller, but Robert Lewandowski is absolutely class anywhere, as we all explained before. Now they've got James Rodriguez of Bayern Munich. They've got, they've even got Vidal in there. Bayern Munich have just got a class team. They've got a fantastic manager with a good pedigree. But yeah, with Thomas Muller, he's got a fantastic history with the club, what he's basically achieved there, amongst the other players, what they've achieved there. He's been there 9 years as Thomas Muller, and as I did keep saying, Van Gaal, who coached us, he was at Bayern Munich 2009-10, I think it was. They won the double in 2009-10. Muller won the double with Bayern Munich in 2009-10. He participated in most of the games. In 2012, 2013, he scored 23 goals and ended up winning the treble with Bayern Munich. That was a historic treble. So I think that's the latest treble that I have seen. So because there's other teams that have done it over the years, as I explained before, but not very often. But yeah, he scored 23 goals a season, but last season he only netted 9 goals, so he did fail to replicate that form as he did in the previous years, did Thomas Muller. I'd love Thomas Muller at Manchester United. If teams can go for him in January, then you may get Thomas Muller. He's an absolute world-class player, as I said. So that's just basically he's just reporting basically what teams have got in plans for the January transfer window. So obviously with Manchester United are going to have plans in the January window. Arsenal are going to definitely have to step up and have their plans in the January transfer window as well, because basically they've generated more money. They've generated more money than they've actually spent. They only bought one player, which was Lacazette. They've offloaded a couple of players. They were lucky Alexis Sanchez didn't leave the club. They were very, very lucky Alexis Sanchez didn't leave the club. And Sanchez, he's gutless about this. He's spineless. He's very, very depressed that he couldn't make the move to Manchester City. Don't need to get in full detail because I've already explained the situation. As I did say, City could capture the player for only £20 million in January, and Arsenal did have the opportunity. They could have cashed in £70 million, but instead they could lose out on £30-40 million by letting him go for 20 million when they could have let him go for 60-70 million in the August transfer window. But as I did say, Wenger, has been very, very convinced that all the way with the speculation going on that he's going to see out his deal and he will become free next summer. And he's basically saying he would not leave the club with Alexis Sanchez. They were going to take it into consideration with Arsenal as long as they could get that adequate replacement, because that's what basically the player wanted when he quoted that he wanted Champions League football, did Alexis Sanchez. The teams that had been very, very interested in the player. City had a £50 million bid turned down. I think they had a £60 million bid turned down for Alexis Sanchez as well. But Arsenal is they're in the Europa League, first time they haven't had Champions League football in 2 decades, and they're going to have to start spending in the January transfer window, because where the problems lie. You've already seen it this season. They've had problems for quite a while now, so they need to reinvest and sort this out like the other teams have done. Arsenal are the only team, basically, you could say, that haven't done that, and there's loads of teams out there that have spent more money than Arsenal, and it's very, very embarrassing for their supporters. But Sanchez, 24 goals last season. He is an essential player. Won 3 FA Cups in 4 seasons with Arsenal. Won a couple of Community Shields. He risen up the ranks of underneath. And Pep Guardiola was keen on reuniting with the player. They were fantastic together at Barcelona with Sanchez and Pep Guardiola. But there will be more deals done in January. I think Sanchez will go in January for definite. I think Coutinho may make the move in January. There could be a few players that could go in January which didn't go to that team they wanted to go to in the August transfer window, but we will see what happens about that. So this is the main part of the video. Is actually about Jamie Vardy. Look, as I said, he's scored goals, he's broke records in his time. You know, risen up the ranks from the non-league, got into the championship with Leicester. And and then went on to win the championship, and then went on to win the Premier League with Leicester as well. Did James Vardy? I think he would be, if he was to move, he would be keen on making the move abroad, and this is basically what's being explained. He's discussed this with his agent and that, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, guys, that's everything to update today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. As I keep saying, subscribe to my channel as always, and subscribe and take it easy. And I'll see you all later. Ta-ra.